Hello, beautiful strangers, and welcome back to another episode of Sakura no Mori Dreamers. When last we left off, we were introduced to school, and our childhood friend there, I can't remember, Sabe, yes, our best friend, quote-unquote, and our little sister, question mark, also started school there, so that is interesting as well. I also found a fun little feature of this. I cannot Alt-Tab out of this game. Whatever. And trying to open up other windows on the monitor that this is open on opens them behind the VN itself. Lots of fun tech features from it. Just love it. Anyway, let's get back into it, shall we? Today, Hatsune came to wake me up with her uniform already on. Your classes will finally start today, but you don't need to overdo it with the studying. What do you mean? I'm not giving you permission to skip school, of course. You should pay attention to class and do your homework. But you can dedicate the rest of your time to other things. Like club? I suppose so, or hanging out with friends. A student's duty is not only studying. Miss Miyako said the exact same thing to me last year. What a nice, supportive mother. I'm not getting any flags whatsoever from either of these people. I barely showed up at my club, so her words did poke at a bit of a sore spot. You've got to enjoy your youth. Youth? Well, I suppose it doesn't really make much sense when you're living through it. Yeah. A moment of hesitation might just lead to a lifetime of regrets. Make sure that doesn't happen to you. Hatsune nodded. What club were you in, Shinji? The literature club, though I don't really go much. You love your cycling after all? Miss Miyako must have noticed that I was a little embarrassed over my less than stellar club attendance record. Literature. I wonder if I should join that too, then. You like reading? Not really, but Shinji's there, so... Hey, you're a big girl now, so you should stop following your brother around everywhere. Okay. Morning. Morning. Good morning. What club are you in, Madoka? I'm in the volleyball club. I see you're already looking for what to do. Yeah, our teacher recommended we join a club if we can. It seems the teachers aren't big on people who go straight home, though it's not like they scold them or anything. I think I'd do better in a humanities club since I'm not good at sports. And how about the literature club? You were in that, right, Shinji? But I'm not much into reading. When I mentioned literature club, Mom said I was being childish. Childish? She said I should stop following my brother around all the time and make my own decisions. I see. What? I stopped. After taking a few steps ahead, the two turned to me with confused expressions on their faces. Shinji? Yeah. I hurried to their side. The shadow had already disappeared. It seemed like that was enough for the two to understand what had happened. They both furrowed their brows. Was it the shadow again? Yeah. I gave a small nod. Telling them did little more than make them worry. But it was hard to mask my reaction when it popped out so quickly. And it was worse when it appeared after I'd already forgotten about it. You sure you don't want to have a doctor look at it? It's not that bad. But it's worrisome. It's been happening since your accident, so... I probably shouldn't have told anyone to begin with. I called it shadow, but it was probably more of a hallucination. I couldn't blame anyone for being taken aback after being told something like that was happening to me. We ended up walking the rest of the way to school in silence. Nobody told me that my fluffy, what is this, rom-com moe was, there's stuff going on. That's like not allowed or something. It's not like this is actually not even slightly a fluffy slice of life rom-com or moe or anything like that. No, not at all. We split up with Hatsune midway and continued to our classroom. I went through all sorts of tests after the accident, but they didn't find anything. Yeah. Madoka still seemed kind of worried. I shouldn't have told you to begin with. Why? I'd never know what's going on if you didn't. It's just making you worry. And what's wrong with that? It's only natural to worry about one's childhood friend. Yeah, I've been in both sides of this sort of conversation. I mean, not about the specific thing, but, you know, not wanting to tell somebody something that might be kind of important because you don't want them to worry. And being somebody that is not being told something about that might be kind of important to somebody because they don't want you to worry. It's never a good feeling either way. It wasn't like she was angry, but her tone rung somewhat rougher than usual. Yeah. Madoka's expression relaxed a little as I nodded. Well, it does seem like it's the only symptom, so I think we can observe it for a while longer. We split up once we entered the classroom. Our seats were quite a distance away from each other, and we didn't usually speak in the school anyway. Madoka, as though having forgot our conversation, was currently laughing with one of her friends. Yo. Morning. I silently sat down on my seat. I'd been seeing that shadow hallucination ever since the day my parents died. It was one of the biggest tragedies in recent memory. Over 500 lost in a plane crash. My parents were among them. Only 3 people miraculously survived the accident. Me, Hatsune, and Miyako. For whatever reason, we, a portion of our family, pulled through alive. Everyone else died. Everyone. I hadn't said anything to Madoka or Hatsune, but I had seen one of those hallucinations just moments before the crash. But did I really? Or was it just my memory playing tricks on me? I knew there was little point in arguing the presence of a hallucination, but to be completely honest, I wasn't sure, especially given how quickly it all happened. But if I really did see it back then, it'd prove it wasn't the accident that caused my condition. Since that was a couple of months before it happened. The survivors were quickly transported to the nearest hospital to undergo all sorts of testing. Luckily, I suffered no wounds and the doctor couldn't find anything wrong with me. But what about my mind? I lost both of my parents in the blink of an eye, so it hardly needed reaffirming that it was a significant blow to my psyche. My brain may have not been damaged physically, but that kind of emotional shock could have certainly led to hallucinations. But then, what if that was unrelated to the accident? It's true that the shadow had startled me, but I didn't quite believe we were in mortal danger until the plane actually began falling. This can't be happening. I'm gonna be okay. Planes don't crash. Those were the thoughts in my mind back then. As such, it was unlikely I was going through an emotional shock at the time, so I couldn't possibly have been hallucinating. That actually sounds like a little bit of an emotional shock because that sounds like coping, basically. But whatever. But then, what were these shadows and monster-looking things that I'd glimpsed from time to time? What if instead I had actually been born with some sort of unusual aptitude that manifested at that moment? Those kind of thoughts made me depressed. And I need to take a quick break to check something. I will be back in just a moment. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that, and I can actually unplug. You can probably hear that. Oh well. Hopefully that's not going to mess anything up with OBS. I've had weird issues with plugging and unplugging stuff, but I'm just unplugging my phone from my computer, so it should be fine. Anyway, with that, the class was over. That was a weird sound effect there. It was from Madoka. Oh, that's your text tone. That fucking sucks, dude. You should change that. I mean, I can't say too much because my text tone has literally been the same thing since like 2008. I have, I think it's played on record video before, but I'm not going to swear to that. It's the turret from Portal. It's saying, "Is anyone there?" As a matter of fact, I think I actually extracted the fucking audio file from the game myself, but I could be wrong. And my ringtone for calls has been the same probably 4 or 5 years at this point. It is, what's the name of the track? Sword of Promised Victory. Anyway, that didn't happen a lot. We never spoke or exchanged texts in school. Cheer up. I'll keep you company cycling again, okay? I was awfully cheeky of her. Maybe she was the one who wanted me to keep her company. I raised my face and our eyes met. She gave me a mischievous smile and left the classroom with a group of friends. The corner of my lips curled into something almost akin to a grin. I wanted to say something to get back at her, but her words did help me relax. Sounds like it's you who needs someone to keep you company. I'd bet you'd forget to bring your bike if it wasn't for me. Hey, wanna go to the arcade again today? Man, fucking MC-kun over here being as tsundere as he can. Nah, I'm good today. Okay. There was little for me to do after school since I was just a ghost member in my club. Normally, I'd cycle around by myself, but I wasn't in the mood for that today. And so, as I wandered with no concrete direction in mind, I ended up in this little place. I've been spacing out in this exact place after that plane crash too. I still couldn't believe both my mom and dad were gone. The sensation of being left all alone slowly grew stronger with time. It felt cold, like it could give you an ice burn if you touched it directly. I kept crying, sitting on the ground with my arms around my knees. The clamor of the crowd in an energetic park felt oddly distant to me today. Though distance might not have been the right expression, it felt more like a thick, invisible membrane that separated me from everyone else, or everything else. The ones who pulled me out of the depressed state were my new family, a childhood friend, and... Hey, I like your theme song. Hello. An older friend of mine who was in a similar situation. Actually, your track specifically reminds me of something from Persona 5. What are you doing? Nothing really. What about you? I wonder what. You're not supposed to be at work right now, are you? I couldn't help giving a wry smile. Yeah, but it doesn't really feel like I'm working. We haven't had a single customer yet. Are you actually paid for this job? I got some allowance. Hide regarded me with tranquil eyes as I fell silent. Worst case scenario, I can just do this. He made a key out of his fingers. You're gonna shoplift again? I don't think that's such a good idea. It's crime. It's a crime, alright. I'm already a criminal. That's true, but what if you get beaten up again? It's not a big deal. It looked pretty painful to me. But then again, he never complained even when both of his eyes had swelled shut. He may have been stronger than he looked. Our chief's saying he's a professional at horse racing, so I've got nothing to worry about. Wait, what? Is he planning to pay you with money he made gambling? Sounds like it. Though it wasn't something someone of my age should speak up about, I was seriously worried about the future of that business. Well, that old man didn't come off as a bad person, at least. Yeah, he may be kinder than he lets on, since he even picked up a straggler halfwit like myself. You're not that bad. I wouldn't call you a halfwit. Hide only regarded me for a moment with a tranquil smile. His life was way worse than mine, so how could he keep smiling like that? Would you like a sweet roll? I can try one out for a change. Okay. Hide took out a sweet roll from one of his pockets and split it in two. Munch, 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 munch. You keep pulling out rolls out of your pocket. I'm like Doraemon. Is that a reference to something that I don't know? Probably it is. Sounds like a Digimon, but I've not watched Digimon since I was a very young child. I thought you'd say that. I think you should be heading back to the office now, so... Alright. I can keep you company until the station. I told him about seeing a shadow this morning. What do you think it means? Do you think I should go to a doctor? I don't think so. I knew he was just saying what I wanted to hear, but hearing it still made me feel better. I mean, these aren't hallucinations at all. Eh? Shinji, Sakura no Mori gravely needs a hero right now. It's quite inspirational, isn't it? I mean, heroes are probably more influential than the police or even the military. Hide stared at my face for a moment. I'm sure you possess the aptitude to become a gun. I couldn't tell if he was serious or just joking around, as usual. Good luck. I'll be rooting for you. Okay. See you then. Yeah, see ya. What should I do now? I spent about 2 or 3 more minutes thinking about that when Hide suddenly came out of the building again. Huh? I accidentally bought menthol cigarettes again. If my memory wasn't tricking me, it was a light version of the cigarettes that was the problem last time. Not that it mattered. Seriously, be careful not to get fired. Okay, the worst case scenario, shoplifting will eventually put you in prison. I can still ask you to keep your promise, Shinji. Promise, huh? A promise. See ya. Are you going to elaborate on that? This time, I hurried away. I would like to know what that promise is. Some time had passed since the start of the new semester. The cherry blossoms were in full bloom and had returned to being normal green trees. Phew. I stopped my bike and took off my helmet. Helmet, okay. The temperature had risen a bit, making it too hot to keep cycling without a break. I can't be too upset about. I'm not upset about typos at all. Actually, I can't make fun of them too much because I'm not the best when it comes to that when I'm writing myself. Granted, I mean I don't publish stuff, but still. Today, rather than going to the mountains, I simply cycled around town. Actually, I was supposed to cycle with Madoka, but she messaged me that she wasn't feeling well at the last moment. There was nothing either of us could do about a random cold, but I was still a little disappointed. Cycling was fun, but also kind of uneventful when you're alone. Madoka's dad still seemed to be busy. I hadn't seen him for a while now. Maybe I go to the mountains again next week. Sakura no Mori stretched along the sea and was surrounded by mountains on the other side. Its mountain roads were perfect for cycling, and you could spot many joggers running along them every day. Hopefully our cold will be gone by next week. I ended up finishing early and returned home. I locked off the bike and went inside. I'm home. It had become a habit to talk to the empty house ever since my parents passed away. I wouldn't usually gawk at her window, but today I was kind of curious about Madoka's condition. During the day, she'd had the curtain closed, making it very hard to see inside. Though one vague glance was enough to tell she was up and moving around the room, much to my relief. What, are you accidentally going to spy her doing something like changing clothes or some other trope like that? Hey. Pretty girl. Cat. Have you gotten used to school yet, Hatsune? Yeah, I even joined a club. Okay, her shirt says Happy Life. With that might just be a crease, but it kind of looks like a heart with a balloon, but it's probably just like a crease or something. Interesting. What did you choose in the end? Home Economics Club? I heard a lot about home ec clubs. My high school nor middle school, so my middle school also had clubs, did not have a home ec club at all. I think my middle school might have had the semblance of a home ec class. My high school did not. So, no idea what it would... I mean, I sort of know what it's supposed to be, but I'd have no idea what it would actually be like being in one. Home ec? Home economics? Is that like sewing? Yeah, we also cook and make sweets. Oh, I never knew you were into that, Hatsune. Hatsune gave me a vague nod. I was almost living with her, yet somehow I still wasn't familiar with her interests or hobbies. Actually thinking about it, if my high school had a home ec club, I didn't like clubs, I didn't like hanging around school, so I probably wouldn't have still, but that would have been the one I would most likely have joined, because I like to cook. That and I've always wanted to learn how to sew because I suck at it because I have unsteady hands. I could probably learn how to do it okay with a good enough teacher, but I don't know for sure. I'd never even been in her room since we slept in different houses. Mom, could you teach me how to cook next Sunday? It takes longer than that to learn how to cook, but okay. Sure, I can do that. I mean, you can learn how to make one thing in a day and probably learn how to make it well. If you have no cooking experience, then you might have to learn the basics of kind of, knife control with cutting things, temperature control with heating and whatnot, and just a very general of don't use too much of this, and it's going to make it taste like this, and some yada yada yada. But maybe that's just me. Hatsune would improve right away with her as a teacher. Are you going to be free next Sunday, Shinji? I think I'll be cycling. Oh, okay. bye. Bye-bye. Good night. Others of you, you'll have another chance sooner or later, to show off your cooking to Shinji. I mean, sooner or later. You don't need to rush it. You've yet to even cook anything, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the first. Well, actually, I was probably like mac and cheese or something like that. It's like boxed mac and cheese, but I technically don't remember the first thing I cooked. I was quite young, and it was mostly me watching mother cook. My mother, my mom, but whatever. Mutter, Großmutter is grandmother. Cooking and me like being slightly old enough to stay home by myself for a period of time, and just being told, hey, you can do this if you do this, and you can go make yourself something to eat, and just make mac and cheese or something like that. Anyway, but typically if you're making something from scratch, unless you're just a whiz, a natural or whatever, it's typically not going to be the best. It'll probably be edible as long as you're careful. It probably won't be the best. But, or if you're following a recipe, baking especially is going to be a lot easier, because you just do exactly what the instructions tell you to, and it'll turn out okay. Next time, I think, our fluffy slice of life has been rudely interrupted, but will it be interrupted again, or will it just be dropped to the wayside? I'm not going to be that mean. I was going to make a reference to an old fantasy series that is no more, but I won't do that. Instead, I'll just end the episode. Well, I hope to see you all next time.